In honor of the great writer Oscar Wilde, his birthday approaching October 17th, I wanted to commemorate his style and vision, presenting to you my notes from his famed essay, Pen, Pencil, and Poison. Notes on Pen, Pencil, and Poison by Oscar Wilde. Notated for you by Forbes Words. To see and hear and write brave things. A mask tells us more than a face. Intensify personality. Keep them under the influence of strange fascination. To be somebody rather than to do something. Life itself is an art with modes of style no less than the arts that seek to express it. All beautiful things belong to the same age, the beautiful. Free ourselves from the influence of custom and the influence of novelty. To see the object as in itself it really is. Looking at events through time's telescope. No amount of art lectures or plans for advancing the fine arts will ever produce this result. The people must always have the best art models constantly before their eyes. In art, whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Yes, our critics seem hardly aware of the identity of the primal seeds of poetry and painting, nor that any true advancement in the serious study of one art generates a proportionate perfection in the other. The art of a true comedian borrow their style from their subject. We cannot rewrite the whole of history for the purpose of gratifying our moral sense of what should be. Now the truth is that Oscar Wilde once said that on the first of the portals, the ancient portal of time and mind, he said, above that doorway, that portal, is the phrase, know thyself. And that the portal he was erecting, that he was creating for us to walk through, for the artists and humans, the beings to follow him, over that portal, over that doorway, Oscar Wilde had inscribed or took part in being the messenger of be thyself. And that is one of my favorite phrases, and what got me into writing. Since I was a child, I didn't realize it, but I was enacting these ideals of his, you could say. Some seem impossible to tackle, but really it's entirely fascinating when he said that in 100 years after he died, which was in 1899, he said, in 100 years, people will take my words and they'll understand them. And it will be more applicable. And that most great artists are not fully understood until after 100 years after their demise. Yet he did have the cliche, poetic, tragic life. He died in prison. Well, he received a terrible, like an ear infection. And he ended up in a flop motel, really cheap place. He had no penny to his name. One of the greatest artists of all time. And he lost everything. And the few people that were there when he died, because his body, after being put in prison for a few years, and living in terrible conditions, his body, he had no nourishment. And when he was finally released, it didn't take long, probably had a beaten down immune system and such. Oscar Wilde being a man of many yet few words, and supposedly his last words to the people when he died was, I don't know what's going to go first, me or this wallpaper. And before we go, I wanted to read to you the Absinthe note by Oscar Wilde. After the first glass, you see things as you wish they were. After the second, you see them as they are not. Finally, you see things as they really are, and that is the most horrible thing in the world. I mean, disassociated. Take a top hat. You think you see it as it really is, but you don't because you associate it with other things and other ideas. If you had never heard of one before and suddenly saw it alone, you'd be frightened or you'd laugh. This is the effect of absinthe has and why it drives men mad. 3 nights I sat up drinking it and thinking that I was singularly clear-headed and sane. The waiter came in and began watering the sawdust. The most wonderful flowers sprang up and made a garden inside the cafe. "Don't you see them?" I said to the waiter. He said, "No, sir, there is nothing." What difference is there between a glass of absinthe and a sunset?